You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, just about an hour ago, thunderstorms rumbled through the Tampa Bay area, but no problems here at Tropicana Field. We will be inside, under the roof, as the Yankees get ready to play Game 2 of this series. Tonight it'll be the Yankees and the Rays in Game 2 of a 4-game series from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with Dave and Code. And right off the bat, we want to wish Yogi Berra a happy 90th birthday. That's why we're there. We're wearing these Yogi hats. Now, last night, the Yankees continued their winning ways. They won the opening game of the series after winning 3 of 4 at home against Baltimore. And, David, they did it in a style that was Yogi style back in the day.
Back in the day, Yogi was a notorious bad ball hitter. Never saw a pitch he didn't like. He could hit everything up above his head, and he'd hit it out of the ballpark, too, as you see in the old Yankee Stadium. A couple of long drives, and Yogi with a little body language, hoping that one stays fair, and it did. And, of course, last night, different story, though. These pitches are good balls to hit, right down the pipe. Alex leaning back and watching it a little bit. When you hit it that far, that's okay. Up in the second deck, and another changeup right down the middle. As you see, that just speeds up Chase Headley's bat. That was a big home run as well. And then how about Brett Gardner? Right down the middle, right back up the middle. And Brett Gardner's a strong young man. He goes dead central. You don't see that too much. Talked to him before the game. He said, don't expect it again. But how about that emotion? Yankees, the Bronx Bombers back.
Well, here are the numbers from last night. 5 home runs for the Yankees, 43 home runs this season, 3rd in Major League Baseball. Only the Dodgers and the Astros have hit more. Second time in New York Yankee history, the top 4 spots in the batting order homered in one game. Gardner, Beltran, Rodriguez, and Teixeira last night. Now, the last time that happened, May 28, 1976, Mickey Rivers, Roy White, Thurman Munson, and Chris Chambliss homered from the first 4 spots in the lineup. Well, tonight we have 2 of the hardest throwers in the game going. Chris Archer for the Rays and Nathan Eovaldi going for the Yankees. Who will be the fastest? David Cohn and Meredith Marakovitz will break down this matchup when we come back on Yes.
baseball on Yes. It's time now for the pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank. People's United Bank, see what know-how can do for you. Tonight's matchup features a pair of right-handers. The Yankees will give the ball to Nathan Eovaldi, who is so far undefeated on the season. For the Rays, it'll be right-hander Chris Archer on the mound. I'm Meredith Morakovitz alongside our pitching guru, David Cohn. David, Nathan Eovaldi has great stuff, but he's also getting hit at times. So how does he get over that hump?
Well, I think he actually has made some progress. I think Larry Rothschild's working with him continually. I think Brian McCann as well in terms of selection and strategy, working the ball up the ladder. When you throw the ball as hard as he does at 97 plus miles an hour, if you elevate the fastball, the art of working it just up above the belt and changing the hitter's eye level really works well. And then being more consistent with his off-speed pitches. We've talked a lot about his slider and his splitter. His slider's been pretty good at times, although he tends to leave it in the middle of the plate here and there in key situations. So he needs to be a little more judicious with his slider usage. And then secondly, that splitter, you can't give up on it. You got to keep working it. Now, a lot of times in the middle of a game, when you're a little leery about hanging that splitter, you still need to get success with it. You still need to trust it. I think he's thrown enough good ones to feel like he can use it in key situations. I'd like to see him use that pitch a little more.
We look at a Yankees offense that put up 11 runs last night. Something tells me not going to be that easy this evening. Chris Archer taking the mound, and the Yankees have lucked out the last two times they played the Rays. They haven't seen Archer yet this season.
Yeah, that's a big break so far. No such luck tonight, obviously. One of the best young arms in the game. A great athlete, a great kid, great makeup. He wants to get better. He wants to be the best in the game. You can't teach that sort of thing with a young pitcher. Obviously, he's got a power arm, 95 miles an hour plus. An unbelievable slider, too, an ever-improving slider. This year, it's gotten much better, much quicker. The depth and the break on it is incredible. It's a real swing and miss pitch for him. He doesn't really even get to his third pitch that much, his changeup, because his first two pitches are so dominating. Really an exciting young kid to watch. Clearly a franchise guy, a true #1 starter for the Rays.
Well, David, I'd love to talk pitching with you down here all night long, but you got to get upstairs and join Kenny Singleton, because lineups, first pitch baseball, are coming your way next right here on Yes.
Open your world by TriStateGMC.com and by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Well, quickly, let's get to the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. And Jacoby Ellsbury is going to lead it off for the Yankees tonight. He's back in the lineup. Brett Gardner will be in left field. Alex Rodriguez will be the designated hitter. Brian McCann doing the catching, batting fourth, followed by Carlos Beltran in right field. Chase Headley will be at third base. Stephen Drew will be at second. Garrett Jones at first base tonight. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, Didi Gregorius. So Ellsbury about ready to step in. The roof, well, it was very handy today as it rained very heavily here in St. Petersburg, Florida, but not a drop indoors as Ellsbury is going to lead it off against Chris Archer. Archer with a record of 3-4 and a 2.59 ERA. His first pitch of the game is in there for a called strike.
You see those numbers on the year? The record doesn't match up with the rest of them. Just 28 hits. Let's go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And the swing and miss stuff, without a doubt. You saw the 50 strikeouts. Power fastball, power slider, Yankee killer. He's got a chance to start his career at 6-0 against the Yankees. The Yankees have had a hard time against this kid so far in his young career. And he would become the 7th pitcher on record since 1940 to begin his record against the Yankees at 6-0 or better. And team-friendly contract, good move by the Rays. You see, there's that high-riding fastball, but they really did a good deal with him. They signed him for 6 years and $25.5 million. They did with a pair of team options that could run through 2021. So you get a young kid that's coming into his own, and you got control of him that long. For those kind of dollars, boy, that's a team-friendly contract if there ever was one.
Well, Jacoby Ellsbury has had no problems, or not many, with Archer in the past. 10 for 15 with a home run. Works out to a lofty .667 average. 2-2 pitch is on the way, and it's downstairs, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the Rays, it's one way they can function to keep some of the young stars. They did the same thing with Evan Longoria, a long-term, team-friendly contract. I mean, these are young players. They're looking for some security. The payoff pitch, and Ellsbury will foul it back. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes, a fastball at 95 miles an hour.
It's really the 2 team options on the end of that 6-year deal that I really look at and raise my eyebrow on. 2020 and 21 for $9 million and $11 million, and it's the team option. So they got a chance to control this kid for a long time.
3-2 pitch on the way, and Ellsbury hits it hard, and it's through into center field for a base hit. Jacoby Ellsbury back in the lineup after taking a night off last night. Gets things started for the Yankees here in the first inning.
Well, Ellsbury's been so hot. And how many times have we seen him go right back up the middle during this recent hot streak? It just tells you that his timing is dead on.
Just out of the reach of the second baseman, Logan Forsythe. Now he's 11 for 16. Here's Brett Gardner. Had 1 hit in last night's game. That increased his hitting streak to 6 straight. That 1 hit was a 3-run homer just to the left of center, way back there in center field. Over his 6-game hitting streak, he is 7 for 23. And the first pitch a little bit high for ball 1. Chris Archer's coming off well, for him, not a very good start. He only went 3 1/3 against the Texas Rangers and took his 4th loss of the season. He gave up 5 runs and 4 hits in 3 1/3 innings. He did strike out 8 in 3 1/3, though. There's the call strike. Home plate umpire is Adam Amare, and he'll be calling balls and strikes tonight. See Brett Gardner checking with him. With Ellsbury at first, you can expect a lot of fastballs. Ellsbury is tied for the league lead in stolen bases with 11. Here's a line drive, and it's going to dump into left center field for a base hit. So the first 2 Yankees are aboard. As Gardner maybe broke a bat, but comes up with a base hit, and this has been happening quite often lately. These 2 have been setting the table.
Listen to that.
What did I say last night, David? You'll give up a bat for a hit. That's why they give you a dozen. They ship them to you a dozen at a time. So Gardner's safe at first, now with a 7-game hitting streak. And here's Alex Rodriguez. An RBI opportunity right here in the first inning. And the first pitch is low and away for ball one. These are the all-time leaders in Major League Baseball in runs batted in. You can see Aaron, Bonds, Gehrig with the American League record, and A-Rod right behind Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig for that matter. Some big-time names on that list. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. The count evens up at 1-1.
See, this is what you call sitting dead red. When you get an 88-mile-an-hour slider, when you're looking fastball, that's the kind of swing you get.
Outside ball two. Now, we mentioned that there's thunderstorms in the area, and I mean it was raining very heavily. You could hear it pounding on the roof here at Tropicana Field, but once again, we're going to have a very small crowd at the Trop to see this game, the second game of the series. 2-1 pitch. That is ball three. So Archer one pitch away from loading the bases here in the top of the first. Now, last night's crowd, we mentioned, was 10,619. The Yankees and the Rays have played 150 games here at Tropicana Field. That was the smallest crowd out of the 150 games. The 3-1 pitch, and it's high, ball four. The bases are loaded. So the Yankees with an excellent opportunity to break out in front here in the first inning. Let's take a look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. We mentioned the rain out of doors. It's 72 degrees. Not much of a wind. Humidity up there at 94%. Rainy outside, but dry underneath the dome. So Archer in a jam right here in the first. Brian McCann up with the bases loaded and nobody out. McCann went 1 for 5 last night. He'll take the first pitch, and that is just outside for a ball. And this is what he's done in his career with the bases loaded. He's been pretty darn good. 10 grand slams. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. He was thinking about number 11.
The gutsy pitch and confident pitch right there from Archer. 1-0. The bases loaded, goes to a slider.
Ellsbury at third, Gardner at second. A-Rod at first. Nobody out here in the first inning. Line drive, right field. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Ellsbury will score easily. They're going to hold Gardner at third as Steven Souza Jr. gets the ball back in. And the Yankees break out in front 1-0 on a single by Brian McCann. Still nobody out.
McCann in the driver's seat. Reaches out on a fastball, kind of middle away. Pulls it. And there you see the runners. Good call with nobody out. Hold them up. Got to be sure on this turf. Still got the bases loaded, though.
Well, the quick meeting from Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, talking over with Archer. We told you he had a poor start in his last one against Texas. He lost the previous start to the Baltimore Orioles, so he's lost 2 in a row. He has never lost 3 games in a row in his career, but right now he's in a jam in the first inning. What'd you say last night, David? April showers bring May flowers?
Yeah, tale of 2 months for Carlos Beltran. A whole different look to his body language in the batter's box right now.
He had one of the 5 home runs the Yankees hit in last night's ball game. He was batting second last night. He's batting 5th tonight. Archer's first pitch, check swing. He goes around too far, and it's strike 1. Beltran, 4-game hitting streak, leads the Yankees in 2 base hits with 9. And that puts him in the top 10 in the American League. 11 grand slams for Beltran in his career. Good stop by Rene Rivera. He was tested several times last night, and nothing got by him. Good defensive catcher. Saves a run right there.
Slider in the dirt. Kind of rolls up his glove and his arm. You saw him get down almost like a hockey goalie, trying to do a kick save on that one.
Hit hard through into right field for a base hit. Gardner will score. They're going to hold A-Rod at third. The bases remain loaded, and it's 2-0 Yankees. 4 singles and a walk in the inning, and the Yankees break out in front. Beltran continues his hot hitting.
Well, when you're hot, and that is it. And Archer goes back to the slider, and this one stays up. And Beltran all over it, just covers it. Bat head out, finds the hole. Another hard hit ball.
Beltran now with a 5-game hitting streak. And that'll bring up Chase Headley. He had a 3-run home run in last night's ball game. He's up here with the bases loaded. Still nobody out. First pitch, it's a call strike over the outside corner. 3 grand slams for Chase Headley. Kevin Cash seeing one of his pitchers in a jam early in this game. Off the end of the bat, it's going to twist foul, and the count will go to 0-2.
You know, a lot of people who watched the game last night here at the Trop said it was the hardest hit display they've ever seen. I mean, there's certainly this year. I mean, the Yankees, everything off their bat was a line drive or a home run, and it just continues here in this first inning.
Yeah, I was talking to Rays broadcaster Dwayne Stats, and he says that's the hardest any team has come in here and hit the ball in last night's game. The 5 home runs, a lot of line drives off the Yankee bats. The Yankees had 11 runs on 14 hits, and very few of them were cheap. And we're going to have a discussion here between Rivera and Archer as they try and get themselves out of this first inning major jam. The Yankees have scored 2. The bases remain loaded. Nathan Eovaldi, before he hits the mound tonight, is going to have a lead to work with. Much in the same way CC Sabathia had last night, with A-Rod homering in the first inning. Oh, 2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3. It looked like he went up the ladder, picked up a strikeout. Well, we haven't had a chance to get to the defense, but it's presented by Geico. As we have Geyer in left, Kiermaier in center, Souza Jr. in right, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney in the infield, and Rivera doing the catching for Chris Archer. So 1 out now. The bases are loaded for Stephen Drew. Drew had a double and a run scored in last night's ball game. He's got a chance to drive in a run. High and away, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, and it's fouled off to the left. A ball and a strike on the Yankees second baseman. 3 career grand slams for Stephen Drew.
Including one of those this year. You're right. I think you called that one.
Yeah, pinch hit grand slam in Baltimore. Here are the runners. A-Rod's at third, McCann at second, and Beltran at first. Ball is hit foul down the left field side. This will make the seats. No play for Geyer in left. And Archer breaks ahead on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With all the pitching injuries that the Rays have had, they are really counting on Chris Archer to kind of lead this staff now. Beginning of the year, he was sort of like the number 3 starter in their rotation. As Drew takes one downstairs for a ball with Alex Cobb going out and Drew Smiley, that elevates Archer in the rotation to maybe the number 1 guy.
See, Longoria wants to come over. Say something to Archer right here. It's a big spot in the game. Nobody out. He got the last strikeout. Now he's in a position to get another one here. And if he can keep this at 2-0.
You can see right there, he's already had to work hard here in the first. 29 pitches. And the ball strike ratio is not all that good. And I think Longoria came over to talk to him more or less just to give him a breather. 1 out, bases loaded. Number 7 hitter, Stephen Drew at the plate. Ball is hit in the air to short center field. coming on is Kiermaier. He's got a strong arm. A-Rod tags, but he's not going to attempt. As the ball is thrown in, Drew didn't hit it deep enough to score A-Rod. So the bases will remain loaded, but there are now 2 outs. That was kind of off the end of the bat.
Certainly was, and we were talking about Alex missing a game after he hit that triple. His legs have been a little heavy lately. No way you're going to take a chance, and as Kenny mentioned, Kiermaier does throw very well.
So 2 down, bases remain loaded. It'll bring up Garrett Jones getting the start tonight. Mark Teixeira getting the night off. As Jones swings and misses strike 1, he's trying to shake off the throws of an 0 for 15 slump, and he has played very sporadically. He has started 3 games at first base, 3 as a designated hitter, and 2 in right field. So it's hard to get anything going with that type of sporadic play. Ball is hit on the ground to second for Forsythe. He has it on the Loney, and that'll do it. All in all for Chris Archer, just giving up 2 runs. First 5 batters, Ellsbury, Gardner, A-Rod, McCann, and Beltran all reached. It's 2-0 Yankees. Nathan Eovaldi. Kevin Kiermaier will lead it off at center. Steven Souza Jr. will be in right field. Evan Longoria will be at third base. Cleaning up is James Loney, the first baseman. Logan Forsythe, he's hot hitting. He'll be at second. David DeJesus in the lineup tonight is DH. Struble Cabrera will be at short. Brandon Guyer in left field. And Rene Rivera batting ninth and doing the catching.
Nathan Eovaldi waited a long time to get out on this mound, and he'll wait longer if he could have got more runs, but he spotted a 2-0 lead here, and you see on the year 9 walks and 25 strikeouts, 44 hits against 34 innings pitched. And let's go ahead and give you your pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And pretty simple, Kenny. I mean, I kept it simple with Eovaldi. We've talked about him and his stuff, and really follow the lead means follow Brian McCann. Follow his game plan. The sequencing of pitches, the strategy. McCann knows what he's doing. Up the ladder, use your fastball up the ladder and down and dirty. Get your slider and your splitter in the dirt.
First pitch is right down the middle and in there for a call strike, 96 miles an hour. This young man has a very strong arm. Jim Hickey, Chris Archer trying to shake off what's been going on in the last couple of starts. This pitch has popped up. Short left field. No catwalk here as Brett Gardner will make the catch for out number 1. Let's check out the rest of the Yankees on defense behind Nathan Eovaldi. You saw Gardner in left field. You got Ellsbury in center. Beltran playing right field tonight. Headley, Gregorius, Drew, Jones in the infield. And Brian McCann is doing the catching. So 1 up and 1 down. And it'll bring up Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder. This young man leading the Rays in home runs with 5. You can see the batting average is down there pretty low at 215. He has a propensity to strike out, but he has some tools. In fact, he can run very well. Down the line, he's going to beat this one out. That's an infield single for Steven Souza Jr. And I think the more playing time this young man gets, the better his game will get. He'll learn the strike zone a little bit better. You saw how well he runs down the line.
He's got a chance to be a power and speed guy. He's got the power to hit it out, and he's got the speed to do this. Headley you almost had to barehand this ball with Souza. As you see, once the bobble comes, no chance.
So 1 out, 1 on. And it brings up Evan Longoria, the third baseman. Longoria 0 for his last 9. But the Yankees have been his favorite team. He's hit 28 home runs against the Yankees, the most against any opponent. And on Saturday against Texas, he did what a lot of hitters would like to do. He hit a home run on his own bobblehead night. So just about everybody was nodding in agreement with what he did on the field. Pitches swung on and missed, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. And this is what he done. Only 118 games, 28 home runs, and 81 runs batted in against the Yankees. A ball and 2 strikes.
Nice. Good sign early. A couple of good splitters back to back. One, Longoria swung and missed, and that's where you want to miss with an 0-2 pitch. Down and dirty.
So you're going to give McCann a lot of credit tonight for getting Eovaldi through this game.
Yeah, Eovaldi, you can see he's not a guy that shakes off a lot, so he will follow his lead.
Throw to first. Speaking of a lead, Souza Jr. gets back safely.
You can see there is the split finger, and that's perfect location for an 0-2 pitch. Down and in. Longoria does not swing at it, but that is good execution.
Over the outside corner for call, strike 3. That's the first strikeout of the night for Nathan Eovaldi. I mentioned that Chris Archer's never lost 3 in a row. Eovaldi's never won 3 in a row, and he's won his last 2.
Well, the splitter before sets this up. You throw 2 straight off-speed splitters to Longoria. Next thing you know, that 97-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer third is much tougher to hit.
Here's the cleanup hitter, James Loney. There's 2 outs and a man at first. Yankees up 2-0. And a slow breaking ball drops in for a call strike. He's featuring several different pitches this inning. Loney asking home plate umpire Adam Hamari where exactly that pitch was. Ball was fouled off, and quickly Eovaldi gets ahead. No balls, it's 2 strikes, just as he did with Longoria.
Eovaldi very quick to home plate. Very difficult to steal off of, even with Souza with pretty good speed at first base.
Hasn't allowed a stolen base in his last 25 starts. And nobody's attempted to steal in his last 15. So that tells you his time to home plate must be pretty quick. Although Souza's got a pretty good lead over there at first. And he's going to draw a throw, and they got him. Picked off by Nathan Eovaldi. And that will do it for the Rays, as Souza can't believe it. But the bottom of the first has ended. And yeah, he was out. So at the end of 1 here at Tropicana Field, it's the Yankees 2 and the Rays nothing.
birthday. It's a blessing to have you around.
Hey Yogi, Jacoby Ellsbury here. Just want to wish you a happy 90th birthday. Hope to see you at the ballpark soon.
Well, it's time for the game changer presented by T-Mobile, and here it is. Career with the Yankees, Yogi Berra, Hall of Famer. 285 for his career, 358 home runs, 1,430 runs batted in, 18 seasons. How about this? 10 World Series titles, most all-time, 3-time MVP, 18-time All-Star, caught Don Larsen's perfect game, 3 seasons as a manager, and went into the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown in 1972. And that doesn't begin to tell you the type of guy he is. Fantastic. Great ball player. He was a coach of mine when I was with the Mets coming up, and certainly a great humanitarian as well. Here's Didi Gregorius leading it off for the Yankees, and the pitch is inside for a ball. So as the game moves along, we'll be celebrating Yogi's 90th birthday, and we'll hope you stay tuned, and we've got a lot more. 2-0 pitch. Gregorius takes it in there for a call strike, a high strike at that, and it's 2-1. Yankees 2 runs in the first inning on 4 hits against Chris Archer. Right out of the box. Slider drops in there, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gregorius scored a run last night, but he was the only Yankee without a hit in the ball game as the Yankees pounded out 14 hits. Call, strike 3. He's caught looking. Second strikeout for Chris Archer. Weekday afternoons on Yes. Join Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Ryan Rucco for their entertaining take on the hottest sports headlines, including opinions and analysis on all the local teams. Catch the Michael Kay Show every weekday at 3 right here on Yes. Jacoby Ellsbury got things started for the Yankees with a base hit his first time up. He takes a strike here. Ellsbury among the league leaders in hits. With that hit, depending on what Jose Altuve does tonight, Ellsbury is 1 behind him in the league leading base hits, 45-44. Ball and a strike on Ellsbury. They also scored a run. And he hits a line drive, and it's going to drop in. It does. Another base hit for Jacoby Ellsbury. So he's back into the lineup tonight with a bang, and now has 14 multi-hit games on the season.
Another ball back up the middle. This one, he's going to fight off a little bit and break his bat. But as Kenny said before, that's an easy trade. Got plenty of bats.
Not only that, they come with your own name on it. How about that? So Ellsbury at first. Brett Gardner's at the plate. Now, he did break his bat as well. That was in the first inning, and he picked up a base hit, and he also scored a run. And he'll take one just a hair high for ball 1. Like Ellsbury, among the league leaders in runs scored.
You know, that hit by Ellsbury will be classified as sort of a soft hit. You know, it wasn't a line drive, but it was good hitting. It was a high slider. He got jammed a little bit, but he was able to elevate the ball over the infield, even though he broke his bat. And to me, that's good hitting.
Throw to first. Ellsbury is chased back. You know what the hitters tell you, though, David? What does it look like in the paper? It looks like a line drive in the paper tomorrow.
In the box score.
Yep.
2 for 2.
Of course, now you can look those box scores up online.
Yes, you can. You can look up everything.
Anything online. Ellsbury's on the move. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second is a strike, and they got him. We told you Rene Rivera comes with a reputation as a good defensive catcher, and he cuts down Jacoby Ellsbury attempting to steal here in the second inning.
Archer pretty quick to home plate. Ellsbury knows he's got to get there in a hurry, and Rivera, that's why you're there. A good pitch, almost like a pitch out. You can see it's right on the money. Throw, tag. Ellsbury doesn't argue.
Caught stealing for the 5th time this year. And the pitch is in there for a strike to Gardner. 2 balls and a strike. That's what I was talking about. And these guys get on base. The hitters can expect fastballs. 2-1 pitch hit on the ground, and this will get into center field for a base hit. Gardner's second hit of the game. So one speedy runner gives way to another. So between Gardner and Ellsbury, they are 4 for 4 as Alex Rodriguez will come to the plate for the second time. Alex kept that first inning rally going with a base on balls and then loaded the bases. And then McCann and Beltran with back-to-back singles to give the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Pitch is in there for a call strike. When you watch Ellsbury take his lead as opposed to Gardner, they do it in a little different style. Ellsbury is a little more open, and it looks like he's a little more movement. Gardner, when he takes his lead, he's almost stock still, like he doesn't want to draw attention to himself, but he fires that arm that he's got across his chest, and it gets him going towards second base. So a little bit different way. Two very good base stealers, a little different styles in doing so.
Yeah, one very calculated in Gardner, and Ellsbury very daring, very aggressive.
Ellsbury with 11 steals and Gardner with 10 on the year. Toss to first and a safe dive back into the bag. Only two teams represented in the American League leaders in stolen bases, the Yankees and the Houston Astros. Not going to pitch to A-Rod is fouled back. It's a souvenir, and the count remains 0 strikes. Archer beat the Yankees a couple of times last year. April 19th, right here at Tropicana Field. That was a game the Rays won big. It was a laughter, 16-1. He started June 30th at Yankee Stadium with no decision. The Rays won that game 4-3. And then he beat the Yankees September 9th at Yankee Stadium. The game the Rays also won by a score of 4-3. 5-0 in his career against the Yankees. There goes Gardner. Pitches low to throw to second is in time. He got him. Rene Rivera back-to-back throws out two of the best base stealers in the league. Ellsbury first and then Gardner. His manager, Kevin Cash, a former catcher, can really appreciate the defense of his catcher tonight. 2 for 2. And catching the Yankees. At the end of 1.5, it's 2-0 Yankees.
Astros in Kissimmee. And Yogi rode me, and I drove over there, and as we got out of the car, he said, "You took the wrong way." "You took the long way." I said, "Yogi, this is the way we always take." He said, "No, you took the long way. I want you to ask their clubby, Steve Perry, what's the short way back to Tampa." So I asked Steve, I come in after the game, "Yogi, did you ask him?" I said, "No, I'll go ask him." So I get the directions. So I tell Yogi, I got the directions from Steve. It's the same way that we came. And he said, I told you my way was faster. And I just thought, what a perfect Yogiism.
That was from the Joe Girardi Show, along with Meredith Marakovitz. Happy birthday, Yogi, number 90. Congratulations. Here's James Loney. He was at the plate when Steven Souza Jr. was picked off to end the first inning. And the first pitch from Nathan Eovaldi is a call strike at the knees on the corner. The same way back as they came. That pitch is high for a ball, 1-1. Eovaldi looking for his 4th win of the year against no losses. Pitch is popped up down the left field line. This one's going to drift into foul territory, but Gardner's there and makes the catch near the Yankee bullpen. And there's one out here in the second inning. Let's take a look at the pickoff. Steven Souza Jr. picked off to end the first inning. Let's take a look, David.
Very quick feet. Perfect throw. And the value of a left-handed fielding first baseman. The tag right on the elbow, and that's why most first basemen are left-handed, because it's on that play and on several other plays, it's an easier tag.
It was a good throw, low towards the bag as well. We've got equipment malfunction here as Chase Headley's going to borrow a glove. Maybe one of the webbing or one of the leather bindings tore. And usually it's the trainers who fix the gloves, right?
Yes, the trainers are experts.
Here's Logan Forsythe. Been one of the hottest hitters on the Rays. He's hit in 8 of his last 9 ball games at a .371 clip. And those 15 runs batted in leads the ball club. Ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. In fact, last night, Forsythe was a triple shy of the cycle. A home run, a double, and a single. Drove in 3 runs. It's a high fly ball to center field. Should be an easy play for Jacoby Ellsbury. And there are 2 down. 2 fly ball outs here in the second. And that will leave it up to David DeJesus, who's a designated hitter. DeJesus getting the start tonight. And he's off to a pretty good start this season. .296, couple of home runs, 11 runs batted in. And the OBP, on base percentage, at .359.
Boy, what an efficient start for Eovaldi so far. Just 15 pitches. His counterpart, Archer, with 48.
First pitch is fouled off, and Gardner will not have a play on this one. His ball hits beyond the bullpen and jumps into the seats. That's been one of Eovaldi's problems in the past. He had too many pitches thrown and out of ball games early.
Eovaldi, it's not as if he's wild. His control's very good. It's almost the opposite. Is when he gets wild, it's in the strike zone as opposed to out of the strike zone. And then the ability to put away hitters, to be able to bury that slider and that splitter down out of the strike zone, to get swings and misses. I think Paul O'Neill made that notation the last time he watched Eovaldi pitch. Is learning how to, the ability to make hitters chase. And you see there, right on cue, the trainer restringing the glove. Steve Donahue has done that probably a million times in his career with various gloves.
Yeah, most of the trainers actually start in the minor leagues, and that's where they learn their craft. They got to be a jack of all trades. Check swing, did he go? Yes! Says third base umpire Eric Cooper, and DeJesus is struck out. Second strikeout for Eovaldi. The Rays go 1-2-3 here in the second inning. It's on to the third. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead. leading 2-0 on our Audi A3 scoreboard. A-Rod was at the plate when Gardner was thrown out stealing. First pitch is popped high in the air to the right side of the infield. Let's see who's going to make the play here. And it's going to be the second baseman, Forsythe. Looked like the right fielder, Steven Souza Jr., did not see the ball. Fans, you don't want to miss this special night at Yankee Stadium on Sunday, May 24th, when the Yankees take on the Rangers. Prior to the game, the Yankees will celebrate the career of four-time world champion Bernie Williams with a special ceremony where the Yankees will retire his number 51 and dedicate a plaque in historic Monument Park. For tickets, visit Yankees.com or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. So A-Rod has popped out to second, one out. Going to bring up Brian McCann, who had a run-scoring single in the first inning. Picked up his 19th run batted in of the season. The 0-1 pitch. And this is hit in the air to right field. Souza Jr. coming on, and he will make the catch for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for the Yankees here in the third inning. You can see it's kind of another sparse crowd here at Tropicana Field. We should mention this, that the Tampa Bay Lightning is playing tonight. Of course, it's on TV, and if they win tonight, they will advance to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And that's, you listen to the sports shows here, that's all they're talking about. They didn't want to talk about the 11-5 beating the Yankees put on the Rays last night. Swing and a miss by Beltran for strike 1. Beltran had a base hit and a run batted in, increased his hitting streak to 5 consecutive games in the first inning. Little chopper to the right side. A throw on the first by Longoria, and that will do it. That play goes 5-3. Yankees go in order. Now to the bottom of the third. Hybrid vehicle of the Yankees, and here's how the conversation will go. What is your favorite Yogiism and why? Yankee Classic 46 says it ain't over till it's over. It's a classic, and it always pushes me to stick with something until the end. That's not the only thing Yogi said over the years. It ain't over till it's over. It's like deja vu all over again. We made too many wrong mistakes. When you come to the fork in the road, take it. That's my favorite. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. You can observe a lot by just watching. The future ain't what it used to be. And I never said most of the things I said. Well, follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid to keep the conversation going. The Yankees hope that Nathan Eovaldi can keep this pitching going. Our Audi A3 scoreboard, the Yankees are up 2-0. As Asdrubal Cabrera will step in. He's batting 7th tonight, hitting at .215 with a homer and 9 runs batted in. He's on the precipice of a milestone. One more hit for 1,000 in his career. And that pitch is outside for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 pitch is poured in there for a call strike. And the Yankees got Nathan Eovaldi. They were looking for a power arm and maybe develop him as a pitcher. His pitch is lined to right field, but Beltran is there, and it's not hit number 1,000. Instead, it's out number 1 here in the third. I think the combination of this power arm and Larry Rothschild, who can mold pitchers, one of the better pitching coaches going. And Eovaldi's gotten off to probably the best start of his career with a 3-0 record. Here's Brandon Guyer, the left fielder.
You know, the pressure's off in some regards. You know, the thing with Eovaldi is over the last 4 years, he was actually dead last in run support when he was in Miami. If you look at the numbers for him, I mean, lowest run support average 2011 through 2015, he got 2.93 runs to work with, the least amount in the major leagues.
The 1-0 pitch is foul tip off the glove of McCann by Guyer.
If you could just get around average, you know, the average runs scored in the major leagues are a little bit over 4. If you can get 4 to 5 runs a game, 4.3 I believe is the average in that range. Just average run support, you know, feels like a ton for him right now.
Well, he's up 2-0 right now. Ooh, way upstairs, but 98 miles an hour, and that's ball 2. There's his record over the last 3 seasons with the Dodgers and Miami. 2-1 pitch, soft line drive right at the shortstop. Gregarious, and they're 2 down.
You know, another thing to consider with Eovaldi is that really last year was his first full year. He's 25 years old. You know, he needs a little, give him a little time in this environment. A great pitching coach, a well-supported team and cast around him. This is the type of environment where he can thrive, continue to improve, continue to develop that splitter.
Here's Rene Rivera, who's already had a good night. He's thrown out Ellsbury and Gardner, 2 of the best base stealers in the game, but he chops one to second here for Drew. Drew to Jones, and that's it. A quick inning for Nathan Eovaldi. We're going to the 4th. It's 2-0 Yanks.
By Montefiore Medical Center. Montefiore inspired medicine. As we told you yesterday, Masahiro Tanaka threw his first bullpen session today right here at Tropicana Field. It was a 30-pitch bullpen session. He used all of his pitches, said he felt fine afterwards. Now the next step for him will be to see how he feels tomorrow. If everything is okay, the Yankees will lay out a plan thereafter. Likely another bullpen session is in his future. But good news for the Yankees, he didn't feel anything during that session. No hesitation rotation guys. So it looks like he could be back sooner rather than later.
Thank you very much, Meredith, for that update on Masahiro Tanaka. On our Lincoln scoreboard, the Yankees are leading 2-0 here in the top of the fourth. Headley, Drew, and Jones for the Yankees here in the fourth inning against Chris Archer. And the pitch is fouled back to the screen. The count will level at a ball and a strike. Headley was a strikeout victim his first time up. And Meredith, we understand there are other Yankee pitchers who are rehabbing. How'd they do today?
Kenny, a lot of action as far as Yankees pitchers are concerned. Ivan Nova pitched an extended spring this morning. Both Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild were on hand. He threw 33 pitches, and Nova said after the session that maybe he was a little bit too amped up wanting to impress Girardi and Rothschild. He settled in after throwing a couple of pitches, but first and foremost, health is number one for him, and he hasn't felt anything in that elbow. So he continues to progress. They'll continue to get his pitch count up there, and in due time he'll go out and make a rehab start. Also, Chris Capuano in action this evening with the AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre team, who is playing Norfolk. He so far has thrown 4 1/3, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, also struck out 1 in the process. He's on the mound right now. He just got former Yankee Jason Nix to ground out to third.
Headley strikes out for the first out here in the fourth inning. As we take a look at this pitch, David.
Well, you get the feeling as this game goes along that there was a missed opportunity in the first inning with the bases loaded and nobody out. So 2 runs now. Archer's back on point.
Now, Meredith, I understand that Nova was throwing 95 miles an hour today. That's progress.
Kenny, that's definitely significant that he does have that on his fastball right now. But a lot of time with Tommy John guys, the last thing to come back is control and that pinpoint accuracy. So they're more interested in seeing how he can control that fastball, how his breaking stuff looks, as opposed to what he's hitting on the radar gun right now.
So we just know that he and Capuano are both progressing and maybe on their way back to the Bronx pretty soon. Thank you very much, Meredith. Of course, Meredith will be on the post-game show with Bob and Jack following tonight's ball game here at Tropicana Field.
You got to throw the results out the window. When you're in extended spring, as Nova is right here, you're pitching against 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that swing the bat right out of the, they just swing at everything. So until Nova actually gets on his rehab stint, which starts the clock ticking, at the 30-day rehab, you can get a better read.
Way upstairs is Stephen Drew. Well, the fact is that Yankee spring training is Tampa, just across the bay here, and Joe Girardi got up early, Larry Rothschild as well, and got to see a rehabbing pitcher. And another thing I heard today that Joe was talking about, that Nova has really worked on his changeup and he's perfecting that pitch. We might see Nova 2-0 might be improved over the original version.
All you got to do is watch Michael Pineda and some of the some of the success he's had with his changeup.
Well, this was a very ballpark where Nova walked off the mound, and quickly after the game, he was looked at by the Rays doctors, and they surmised that he was going to have to undergo Tommy John surgery as Drew strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Chris Archer here in the fourth inning.
See Chris Archer, that slider has gotten a lot better this year as compared to last year, and it was pretty good last year, but it's quicker, it's got more depth on it, much improved, just that particular pitch.
Here's Garrett Jones playing first base tonight, and he'll take a pitch for a call strike.
When you're judging a pitcher, in football the quarterbacks have the quarterback rating. The number. In baseball, it's called game score. Chris Archer is 7th in the league. He's got a 61.3 game score on average. Average in the major leagues is 50. The score is 50 here. Dallas Keuchel's got 69, a 69 rating on his game score.
From the Houston Astros. He's having a great year.
Yes.
Now, what entails the game score?
Well, the game score is basically a point system. You start on an average of 50, and you start adding for innings pitched, for strikeouts, for hits allowed. You add and subtract points as you go along, depending on a positive or negative outcome.
Ground ball foul. So if you walk a few guys, that takes points off.
Takes points off. You give up an earned run, it takes points off. And
you give up a home run?
Definitely points subtracted. It's a basic, pretty simple point system, plus and minus. But it's pretty accurate when you're grading out a pitcher from start to start.
Hit hard, and it's off the glove of Longoria, and it's going to be a base hit for Garrett Jones. He's on with 2 outs. Longoria, with the shift on, moved over to the right side of the field and got a glove on it, but couldn't flag it down.
So you'll subtract 2 points for that. That's a hit.
Eventually, it's going to be Logan Forsythe who runs this one down, but he didn't get to it in time to throw Jones out. So with 2 outs, Yankee first baseman is aboard to bring up the shortstop, Didi Gregorius, who was called out on strikes in the 2nd inning. The first pitch is hit towards the middle. Forsythe with a great stop, throws to second for the force. An excellent play will take the Yankees out of it here in the 4th inning. They pick up a hit and nothing else against Chris Archer. 3.5 have been played at Tropicana Field. The Yankees have the lead 2-0 over the Rays. Evaldo will face the top of the order for the Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Kiermaier flew out to left field his first time up, and he swings at the first pitch here, lines it down the left field line, and Gardner makes an outstanding running catch as he crosses into foul territory. His defensive zone rating out there in left field must be off the charts. That looked like it was going to be a double into the corner.
Well, no doubt. Not only that, a great jump. And that's not a fly ball, obviously. This is smoked off the bat. It's a line drive. Defensive positioning has something to do with it as well, as he was positioned very well by the Yankee bench.
I'll tell you what, in the first game last night, the Rays hit several balls very hard, but the Yankees always seem to have a defender right there. I'm thinking the balls are hit back through the middle, and Gregorius is standing there, or Stephen Drew. Here's Steven Souza Jr. He's been the only Ray to get on base, get infield single, and then was picked off. So in the process, Evaldo's faced 10 men through 3 1/3 inning. There's a call strike, and the count evens at 1-1. "21 strikes, 10 balls. Pretty good ratio. You've been watching Nathan Evaldo. As the year goes on, David, develop into a dependable pitcher. That pitch is low and away for a ball. And you mentioned the fact of run support. That is such a big factor.
It's definitely a blessing for him to get out of Miami and get to the Yankees and hang around guys like this. CC Sabathia can be a leader on that bench, even though he may not be the once dominant starter he once was. He's still very much of a leader in that clubhouse.
2-1 pitch, swung on in, missed, strike 2. You know, you're talking about run support. CC hadn't really gotten all that much until last night's game. The Yankees winning the opening game of the series by a score of 11-5. 5 home runs. Hit by the Bronx Bombers. The 2-2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3. Third strikeout for Eovaldi tonight. Blows one by Steven Souza Jr.
Yeah, this is point 2 on the scouting report. Up the ladder. Beautiful. Up above the belt. 97 miles an hour. You set it up, you get ahead, change the eye level. You'll be surprised how many guys will swing at that up and out of the zone when you throw as hard as Eovaldi does.
Here's Evan Longoria, called out on strikes in the first inning. And first pitch is in there for a strike. What you might be seeing here is a young hard thrower develop into a hard throwing pitcher. And what I mean by that, and you know what I mean, David, the fact that he has more of a clue as to what he's doing out there, how to move the ball around, you know, maybe listening to his veteran catcher and not just trying to. It's not like Little League where you just throw it by everybody.
Absolutely. You get yourself, and we saw it in the first inning, really from the start of the game where Eovaldi was in a pitching mode. We saw all of his pitches early, get a feel for everything early, prove to the other side that you've got more than just a fastball.
Mm-hmm. 2 outs, nobody on for the Rays here in the 4th. The Yankees are up 2-0 on the strength of a 2-run first inning. The first 5 Yankees reached base, and Ellsbury and Gardner at the top of the order both scored a run. Ball is hit in the air to right center field. On the move is Ellsbury. He gets there, makes the catch, and the Rays go quietly here in the 4th. 1-2-3 against Nathan Eovaldi. Earlier today, Yogi was in attendance at the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center on the campus of Montclair State University for a special birthday celebration and ribbon-cutting ceremony. MLB presented the museum with a replica set of his 10 World Championship rings and his 3 Most Valuable Player awards, items that were stolen from the museum last October. So it looked like it was a fun day at the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center. I've been there. It's quite a place. Our Bigelow T scoreboard has the Yankees up 2-0. We're in the 5th inning. And the top of the order, Ellsbury is 2 for 2 with a run scored. He's at the plate. And he fouls a pitch off, and the count is a ball and a strike. Ellsbury, Gardner, and A-Rod for the Yankees here in the 5th. And all throughout the game, we will be celebrating Yogi Berra's 90th birthday. The 1-1 pitch. There's ball 2, 2-1.
Well, even the way Ellsbury takes pitches, he just is so locked in. I mean, not even offering at that high fastball.
3 balls and a strike now.
Talk about feedback on every pitch when pitchers should have a feedback. If what the hitter does on every pitch gives you a clue. And the way Ellsbury is so locked in and taking pitches off the plate tells a story.
Count is now full as Archer hits with the 3-1 pitch, and it's 3-2. He's up to 74 pitchers here in the 5th inning. Brett Gardner's on deck. He, like Ellsbury, is 2 for 2 tonight. Pitch is foul back. Ellsbury has scored a run. Now, prior to the game tonight, he had scored 25 runs. That was 1 fewer than Mike Trout, who was leading the league. So right now, depending on what Trout does tonight, Ellsbury is tied for the league lead in runs scored. The 3-2 pitch. Foul back again.
Yeah, drawing first blood as they did again. Once again, the Yankees, the combination of Ellsbury and Gardner at the top of the lineup have scored 34 first inning runs. It's first in the major leagues.
And how important is that? When the Yankees score first in a game, they are 16-3. He swings at a pitch in the dirt. He chased ball 4 and will be thrown out at first base. So Archer picks up his 5th strikeout. Yankee Baseball and Yes is brought to you in part by your Tri-State BMW Center. By People United Bank N.A. Put the power of know-how to work for you. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. One out for Gardner, who has scored a run, has 2 hits, and was thrown out stealing his last time. That was the 3rd time this year he's been caught stealing. He does have 10 in the stolen base column. The 0-1 pitch bounced to the right side. Loney's going to take it himself, and the first 2 Yankees are retired here in the 5th. And you could hear the reaction of the crowd as Alex Rodriguez comes to the plate. You know, this is a reception that Alex is getting used to just about everywhere on the road. And he swings and misses, strike 1. Tonight he's walked and popped up. It's interesting because my youngest son Dante has a video game. I think he said it was The Show. I think that's the one. And it's so realistic that when Alex comes up on the road, the fans boo. The 0-1 pitch. Hit hard. Great stop by the second baseman Forsythe, who was playing the shift, and Alex Rodriguez is thrown out. The Yankees go 1-2-3 here in the 5th, but they lead it 2-0.
90th birthday.
Hey Yogi, John Ryan Murphy here. Happy birthday.
Hey Yogi, happy birthday. It's your 90th, buddy. Love you. Have a great day.
Well, the Yankees wishing Yogi Berra a happy 90th birthday, as we all do. Bigelow T scoreboard. It's 2-0 Yankees, bottom of the fifth. James Loney will lead it off for the Tampa Bay Rays. And Evaldi's first pitch is outside, ball one. We also want to wish a happy birthday to our director, John Moore, who's with his dad tonight. John Wilson's directing tonight here at the Tropicana Field. But Ellis Moore is 91 today. So happy birthday to John's dad, Ellis. I hope he's enjoying his day. Loney tonight is flied out to left field. He's 0 for 1. Loney's been a .290 hitter for the Rays the last couple of years and always brings solid defense at first base. Count is 3 balls and no strikes. Evaldi's fallen behind. Well, he's worked very efficiently tonight. That pitch is in there for a strike. What was it? The most pitches he's thrown in an inning is 11?
Yeah, that's just well below average.
They say 15 is pretty good to get out of an inning.
Absolutely.
Ball is hit on the ground. Stephen Drew has it from short right field, throws the first, and Loney's out of there. Fans follow the New York Yankees all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment and at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet today. Here's Logan Forsythe, who flied out to center field, and Jacoby Ellsbury in the second. Breaking ball drops in there for a call strike. Sharp slider from Evaldi.
It's clearly so far the best we've seen of Evaldi this year.
First time he's ever faced the Rays in his career. High chopper. This is going to be a tough play. Coming on is Headley, and in and out of the glove, and this is going to be a base hit. 2 infield singles, the only 2 hits the Rays have tonight.
Yeah, and both of them to Chase Headley. Very difficult, high degree of difficulty chances for Headley. I mean, this is just do or die. And even if he did come up with it cleanly, no guarantee he could have got the ball there on time.
Well, there's a chopper off home plate. So the Rays have a man on with 1 out. And the designated hitter, David DeJesus. He of Rutgers University will step in. Curveball is dropped in there for a strike. Now, a couple of times tonight, Evaldi's fallen behind the leadoff hitter as he did with Loney. But he hasn't walked a leadoff batter in an inning in his last 12 starts. And those are the things that can get you in trouble. Pitch is fouled off, and quickly DeJesus is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. DeJesus all winter long, there was talk of him being traded, but he's gotten off to a good start. Primarily, he's been the designated hitter against right-handed pitching. Look out, up and in, moves him off the plate.
Good pitch.
How is it good?
Make the hitter uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
Make him move a little bit.
Okay, I can go with that. I always thought it was a semi-compliment on an 0-2 pitch when a pitcher would move you back. Pitch is fouled off, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Here you go, David. This is what you like, right?
Well, it's 0-2. You see McCann wants it up the ladder, and he gets it up, and yeah, even better that it's in. McCann was setting up down the middle. That wasn't too far in, but That's the key there. You see McCann really working Eovaldi, and Eovaldi not shaking his head. Tell me what you want. I'll give it to you right there. And that's the right formula for Eovaldi. Follow McCann's lead.
Pitch is fouled at the plate by DeJesus. Just got a piece of it. Maybe got a piece of himself as well as he's walking around.
So they're going to talk about it just a little bit. Those were 2 straight splitters in a row. McCann's trying to get him to work that splitter. These last 2 kind of cut a little bit, and you see it hits DeJesus's hits his back leg.
The Rays just have 2 hits, pair of infield singles. Check swing, did he go? No, says third base umpire Eric Cooper. DeJesus was called out on a check swing back in the second.
Good tries, though. I mean, that's what we talked about with Eovaldi. Those pitches that just miss. Trying to get hitters to chase when you're ahead in the count.
Man at first, the infield at double play depth. DeJesus spoils another one. When you look at the double play depth, the middle infielders are kind of pinched towards the bag at second. So a ground ball in their direction, they want to get the second for the force, then back on the first as quickly as possible. When there's 2 outs and nobody on, they're spread out a little bit more, trying to cover a little bit more ground. I hit into enough double plays to know. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's lined and off the glove of Gregorius and into center for a base hit. He almost came up with a spectacular play. So the first solid hit of the night for the Rays puts 2 men on with 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Well, that was a really good at-bat from the veteran DeJesus. And a good pitch. It jams him inside, and DeJesus fights it off. Gets it up just enough over the leaping Gregorius.
DeJesus has been one of the hotter hitters on the Rays. He's now 8 for his, make that 9 for his last 19. It's over 7 games. The infield still at double play depth, but now the Rays have 2 men on with Asdrubal Cabrera coming to the plate. He lined out to right field, and Carlos Beltran back in the 3rd. Hitting just .213 on the season. Great stop by McCann. And they're going to have to exchange that ball. It was in the dirt.
First pitch curveball, hangs on to it, and boy, that is a good pick. There's no way to block that as a catcher. You can't possibly get over behind the hitter and get into blocking position. So just an excellent glove work.
Ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Well, there's a lack of cowbells here tonight. Usually that's all you hear. That's sort of like a tradition here at Tropicana Field. Goes back a few years. There's Forsythe at second, DeJesus at first. This is the best scoring chance the Rays have had tonight. Pitch is hit on the ground towards second. Drew has it, turns, throws a second for the force. That's all the Yankees will get. But now there are 2 down and runners on the corner. So Cabrera reaches on the fielder's choice. And DeJesus is a race 4-6.
Good job by Drew going ahead and spinning and cutting down the runner at second base to DeJesus, and Gregorius. Good instincts. No chance to turn that.
So with 2 down, runners on the corners will bring up Brendan Geyer, the left fielder, with a soft line drive to Gregorius back in the 3rd inning. We should mention that the Rays' regular left fielder, Desmond Jennings, is on the disabled list. He's had soreness in a knee that goes back to last year, and it started to act up this year. Another good block by McCann. No advance by the runners. And with Jennings being injured, Geyer's gotten a chance to play a lot more.
Thought that was a big blow for the Rays. I thought Jennings was going to take another step forward this year with all that talent. He still may when he comes back.
But he was having issues with that knee in spring training. He did start the season, but it got progressively worse, and it forced him to the disabled list. Eovaldi trying to get out of a jam here in the 5th inning with the Yankees up by 2. There is a called strike, and it's 1-1. Time and time again, he's gotten that breaking ball over.
Yes, he's been in a good pitching mode all game long, a good mixture of all of his pitches. So now when you get into a jam, you have a feel for them.
Swing and a miss. Or maybe a foul tip on the ball in the dirt. I don't know if the fans could pick up that thunder that just rolls outside of Tropicana Field.
Excellent splitter, down and dirty, right where you want it. That pitch progressively is getting better and better. McCann is calling it more and more.
Well, it's getting stormy outside of Tropicana Field. Eovaldi's trying to keep things nice, calm, and easy for the Yankees as they lead by a score 2-0. Inside the safety of the dome. Next pitch. Swung on it. Missed. Strike 3. He got him. So Eovaldi gets out of his first major jam of the night, and the score remains 2-0 Yankees at the end of 5.
Yeah, back here at Tropicana, Yankees up 2-0. We're going to go ahead right now and give you our Jeep Hitters Scouting Report for Yogi Berra. How about that? Brian McCann's coming up. Okay, how about number 1, bird bashing. Hit a .314 career average versus the Orioles. This is the highest against any opponent. And on the prowl, 72 times he went deep against Detroit. It's the most versus any opponent. So he bashed the Birds, killed the Tigers, and early and often he had 11 career home runs versus Hall of Famer, early win. That's the most versus anybody.
All right, Yogi Berra, Hall of Fame career. And here's Brian McCann, who's going to lead it off for the Yankees and takes the first pitch here in the 6th inning for a called strike. So I saw what you went there, catcher to catcher.
That's right.
All right. McCann has a hit and an RBI tonight. Yogi would like that. Swung on and missed there, and the count is 0-2. That RBI single coming in the first inning. When the Yankees scored their 2 runs so far, that's been all the scoring in the game. A ball and 2 strikes on McCann. He'll be followed by Beltran and Headley for the Yankees here in the 6th. Good swing, but he fouled it back. How about this? Most consecutive 20 home run seasons by a catcher. Yogi and Mike Piazza tied with 10 of them. Then Brian McCann. Well, we tied it in again. And Johnny Bench. Swing and a miss, and McCann has struck out. Strikeout number 6 for Chris Archer. So Archer has settled down since the first inning.
He really has, and this is a tight slider. Even though it's up, kind of fools McCann. Not exactly what Archer was trying to do with it, but that's when you know you have a good slider, is even when it's up, it still breaks quickly. It still has tight spin on it, and Archer's got the kind of quality on that slider that very few have.
Pitch to Beltran is in there for a call strike. Carlos drove in a run with a run-scoring single in the first inning and then grounded out the third. Evan Longoria was on the right side of the infield where he is now as the shift is on for Beltran. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Archer dialing it up to 95 miles an hour. As we said, 2 of the harder throwers in the league tonight. Both, their fastballs sit about 95. Eovaldi, he can elevate it. We saw 198 tonight. Way upstairs. A ball and 2 strikes.
Quite a comeback for Archer. If you think about it, the first 5 batters of this game, and you're down 2-0, bases loaded, nobody out, and he slammed the door from that point on.
Beltran got jammed. It hits a fly ball to right field. Souza Jr. is there, and there are 2 down. Well, since the first inning, the Yankees have only had 3 hits, and 2 of those hits were erased on caught stealings. Here's Chase Headley. You can see how hard that Archer had to work in the first inning. 32 pitches. You had the feeling he wouldn't be around this late in the game, but he's made it to the 6th.
Yeah, the difference in this ball game, Ellsbury and Gardner at the top of the lineup in the first, once again.
Pitch in there for a strike to Headley, who so far tonight has struck out twice. There's a ball, 1-1. Headley's home run last night was his 10th as a Yankee, but only his 2nd on the road. His other road home run was at the Rogers Center last season. Bouncing ball towards the middle. Asdrubal Cabrera behind the bag, throws on to first, and another easy inning for Chris Archer. We've played 6 innings. The Yankees lead 2-0. Those were the thrills of the Yankees presented by Pepsi. Upload your Yankees pride using hashtag Yankees Thrill for your chance to win an exclusive Yankee experience. Go to Yankees.com/YankeesThrill for more information. As we celebrate Yogi Berra's 90th birthday. Happy birthday once again, Yogi. 6th inning. And here's Rene Rivera, and he takes a pitch from Eovaldi downstairs for ball 1. Rivera's had one at bat. He grounded out to second. We're in the 6th. The Yankees are up 2-0, scoring their 2 runs way back in the 1st inning. Now back to the screen, and it's a ball and a strike.
We've noted how good Eovaldi's pitch count is, and staying right there on this pace certainly gets him in a position to hand the ball right to Betances and Miller at the end of this game. And we know what happens then so far this year, and almost 2-1 balls to strikes.
Bouncing ball towards short. Gregorius to Jones, and there's one down. So important to get that first out of an inning. And Eovaldi's done it every single inning thus far against the Rays. Now back to the top of the order, and Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier is fly to left and lined out to left.
It's so nice to watch a shortstop with a cannon of an arm, you know. Remember watching Sean Dunston throw back with the Cubs, one of the best I've ever seen. But
from Brooklyn.
Gregorius, that man right there has a cannon. No doubt about it. And he's getting better and better and more self-assured as the season goes along.
Curveball drops in there for a call strike. Bouncing ball to first, an easy play for Jones, and it's 2 up and 2 down. Well, fans, tomorrow night on Yes, it's another can't-miss matchup here from St. Pete when the Bombers and the Rays hit the field in Game 3 of this series. Coverage on Yes starts at 6 p.m. with the Audi batting practice today and the Tri-State Ford pregame right here on Yes. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, man, the rain's coming down. Do you have an umbrella, David? That is a live shot of what's going on outside of Tropicana Field, and we can hear the thunder rolling. It might not be a fun commute home for me tonight. There's a pitch outside to Steven Souza Jr.
No, I do not have an umbrella, and beyond that, I left the windows of my car down, too.
No, you did.
My rental car, yeah, I did.
Well, it's a rental.
I have to grab a few towels in the clubhouse on the way out tonight.
The 1-0 pitch, yeah, that is in there for a strike.
It was sunny when I came in.
Yeah, well, it was. There's Mark Teixeira enjoying an evening off thus far.
See him, he's almost like he's doing isometrics with that wrist. We talk about that wrist injury. He's finally strong again. And you know, what we've learned with Teixeira is that was a serious injury that he had. And it really took 2 years for him to get back to close to full strength. And now we see this year that he's swinging the bat with authority, including opposite field home runs.
Strike 2, 2-2. Teixeira with 11 home runs, second in the league in homers to Nelson Cruz of Seattle.
Just a great comeback for Mark Teixeira this year so far.
2-2 pitch is on the way. And it is called strike 3. Eovaldi sets him down in order here in the 6th inning. Yankees leading 2-0. What's going on outside? It's Tampa Bay Lightning. Starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. Adam Warren will get the start for the Yankees, looking for his third win of the year. Same can be said for Nathan Carnes. The rookie right-hander will be going for the Rays. Coverage begins 6 p.m. right here on the Yes Network. Stephen Drew will take a pitch high for ball one from Chris Archer. We're into the seventh inning. The Yankees leading by a score of 2-0. Drew's looking for his first hit. He's flied to center and struck out against Archer. And he drives one foul to an empty seat down the right field side. Bottom third of the Yankee order: Drew, Jones, and Gregorius for the Yankees here in the seventh inning. This is fouled straight back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
What an incredibly quick pace of this game since the first inning. That man dominating on top of these Rays hitters every inning. And Archer just the same since his blip in the first inning from that point on.
This is popped up. Let's see if there's a play. It's over near the Yankee dugout. Archer coming over, and he cannot make the play along with Rivera. But Archer hustling off the mound, showing his athletic ability. He almost got to it.
Looked like he was going to, and he kind of broke off because he heard footsteps from the catcher. Archer's got a beat on. You can see he kind of pulls up right there as he sees Rivera break into a slide.
You know, with the shifts that they have now, pitchers are going to have to make plays like that. You know, a first baseman, particularly on the third base side, because the third base, this is a shortstop right here. You have Longoria over here. It's the third baseman. Well, there's nobody home with the exception of Cabrera on the left side, and he's a long way from the Yankee dugout. 2-2 now on Drew.
Not too many pitchers in the game today that would have got that close to that pop-up.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 7 strikeouts now for Chris Archer. We're going to take a look at the first inning and how we got here. No, I guess we're not going to do it. We'll tell you what happened. Ellsbury singled, Gardner singled, A-Rod walked, McCann singled in a run, and Beltran singled in a run. And that's how the Yankees lead 2-0. We had to go to our radio style. There's a high fly ball to left center field. This is hit well. But Geyer's calling for it and catches it in the middle of the warning track, and that's out number 2 here in the 7th. Oh, now we got video.
Video killed the radio star. So. Well, it really was. The first 5 batters, once again, Ellsbury and Gardner on top. Bang, bang. A-Rod works the walk. McCann reaches out. RBI single to right. Beltran, same thing in the hole. First 5 hitters, 2 runs scored, and that's it.
Here's Gregorius, who takes a pitch for a strike. Gregorius 0 for 2. He's forced a runner and struck out looking. The Rays bullpen getting busy. The pitch count's getting up there for Archer. He's over 100 now. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Still looks like he's got something in the tank, even though he's gotten over 100 pitches.
Yeah, just a fantastic athlete on the mound. Chris Archer getting better and better.
Xavier Cedeno is the left-hander. Matt Andriese is the right-hander. Ball is fouled off. Now the Rays, you know, they've developed a lot of pitchers throughout their organization, but they got Chris Archer in the trade. They got him from the Chicago Cubs. So some of their scouts knew what they were looking at and saw a chance for a young pitcher to develop in their organization. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 8 strikeouts. Yankees go 1-2-3 here in the 7th. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Back on the post-game show along with Meredith Morakovich. But for all the latest sports news and highlights, including analysis of the NBA and NHL playoffs, don't miss Fox Sports Live tonight at 11. You can see it on Fox Sports 1 or stay tuned for the simulcast of Fox Sports Live immediately following Yankees coverage right here on Yes. Evan Longoria will lead it off for the Rays here in the 7th inning. Yankees up 2-0. Swings at the first pitch. Little looper to left field coming on his Gardner. He's going to have to play it on the hop. Longoria has a base hit. That is the 4th hit for the Rays tonight, and the first time they've had a leadoff man on against Eovaldi.
A good choice by Gardner here. As you see, the pitch is a good pitch. Jams Longoria, but that's the kind of hitter he can fight it off. And don't dive right there. Not with a 2-run lead. Gardner could have maybe taken a dive there, but better off just playing it on a hop the way Eovaldi's throwing. That ball gets by Gardner. Next thing you know, Longoria's on third base.
And he's on first with a chance for a double play to erase him. Here's Loney, who's flying to left and grounded to second. Strike one call from Eovaldi. Pitch count at 72 as we're in the 7th inning.
Another first pitch splitter right there. Even though it cut a little bit, those are splitters.
Strike 2. He quickly jumps ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Excellent. Back to back. You know, we've talked a lot about the repertoire of Eovaldi, and here's another one. 2 straight. Another splitter right there.
Now, this is a pitch he didn't have coming out in spring training. He's learned this pitch.
Yeah, he started working on it actually last year in his last few starts in Miami and brought it to spring training, and Larry Rothschild helped him with it.
The 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No, says Eric Cooper. Now, when you say a splitter cuts, it's not really supposed to do that. It's supposed to fade away.
Yeah, you want it to go down or fading the other way, but as long as it's got good movement on it and it's down a little bit, you can get away with it.
Loney stays alive, fouls it back to the screen.
By throwing so many splitters tonight and good curveballs, too. Eovaldi's curveballs in the mid-70s, which gives him excellent separation. From 95 plus to 75 and down, he's got a 20-mile separation between top and low end velocity, but it protects his fastball. See a lot of late swings on his fastball tonight because he's mixed his off-speed pitches in so well.
Here's Andrew Miller. He might be in action in a little while here. Pitch on the ground, off the glove of Garrett Jones, but he's going to make the play at first. Eovaldi covers, and there's one out. On the play, Longoria moves to second. Take a look at this on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
It's another reason why you love left-handed first basemen, because they can get in the hole, get a glove on it, knock it down, scramble. Eovaldi is where he's supposed to be. And you salvaged an out right there. It's a reason why left-handers play first base. Yankee fans will remember the great Don Mattingly and a lot of plays just like that.
Smooth as silk around the bag at first.
One of the best ever.
Runner at second, one out. Logan Forsythe is up. He's had a base hit. He's also flied out to center. And he takes the first pitch, low and away for ball 1. Forsythe with the base hit is now hitting 9 of his last 10 ball games. He has played himself into an everyday role here in Tampa Bay. Ball 2, 2-0. You don't know exactly where he's going to play on the field, but you know he'll be playing.
He's a tough out. He's really a solid professional hitter, and this is probably the key at bat in the game right now for Eovaldi to get through this particular hitter, now down 2-0 in the count.
Three balls and no strikes. Yeah, decision might be coming soon for Joe Girardi. Well, the pitch count is very stable at 79. And there's Larry Rothschild, who, with his experienced eyes, watching a young pitcher, 25-year-old Nathan Eovaldi, work here tonight. And that pitch is outside, and there's a 4-pitch walk. That's the first walk he's allowed in the game.
Well, the fact that Joe Girardi doesn't have a lefty up right now for David DeJesus shows you the confidence that he's showing in Eovaldi.
DeJesus has had 1 of the 4 Rays hits. He singled his last time up. And as we told you, he's been swinging a pretty good bat lately. Jumped his average up over 300 with that base hit in the 5th inning. Longoria at second, Forsythe at first. They represent the tying runs. Ball 1.
You look at his pitch count, you look how he's been cruising. Obviously, fatigue is not the issue here. This is just the emotion of the situation. 7th inning, nobody warming up in the bullpen. Tying run on base, go ahead run at the plate.
Fouled off, and it's a ball and a strike. Eovaldi did go 7 innings in a game against the Tigers in a win back on April 21st. Gave up 8 hits, 1 run, walked 1 and struck out 4, and threw 94 pitches in 7 innings. That was his longest outing of the season. DeJesus, well, he's been very effective in these situations. Look out, the ball goes all the way back to the screen, and the runners will advance. So Longoria trots to third, Forsythe to second, and now the tying runs are in scoring position for DeJesus.
You know how I talked about that cutting splitter? There it is. See it sailing?
Oh, it's
almost like a knuckleball.
Yeah. So now the conventional double play is kind of out of the window. And the count is 2 balls and a strike on DeJesus. Hit hard and through the middle for a base hit. The throw is going to second base. It's going to be cut off, and the Rays have tied the game. David DeJesus comes through again.
Well, a real backbreaker for Eovaldi, who's thrown so well after the wild pitch. Runners in scoring position to tie the game. Curveball down. Fastball fouled off, back even. Sailing splitter. And then the base hit up the middle on another off-speed pitch. Looked like a slider. Just that fast, right up the mound. You get a tie game.
Now, did they score that a pass ball or a wild pitch? On the pitch.
It was a really tough play for McCann.
Yeah, it was. Justin Wilson is up in the Yankee pen. He's warming up quickly. So now it's the Rays 2 and the Yankees 2 here in the 7th. And Asdrubal Cabrera will come to the plate.
They did score that a wild pitch.
Okay, a wild pitch moved both the runners into scoring position. And then DeJesus delivered. Cabrera tonight is 0 for 2. Still only 1 out. Check the swing, and the pitch was called a strike. So we did hear a few cowbells, but not with the strength that we usually hear them. The Rays have tied it up here in the 7th. And the Rays have their bullpen going as well. Hit hard off the glove of Garrett Jones. Let's see if he can recover and get it out. He does, as he gets Cabrera for out number 2. If he holds on to it, that's a double play.
Well, big inning for Garrett Jones. As you see this time, he's got to get up a little bit, and it's hit so hard he just can't quite snag it. Falls down afterwards, but a great recovery to get back and get an out, and almost get trampled in the process.
On the play, DeJesus moves down to second base, and he's there for Brandon Guyer, the number 8 hitter, who's lined out and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Eovaldi deals a strike. The Rays have picked up 2 runs on 2 hits, and the only walk of the game by Eovaldi is also scored. Kevin Jepsen, former Angel, warming up in the Rays bullpen.
Well, no doubt Forsythe's walk was a big key in that inning.
Swing and a missed strike 2. And it was a 4-pitch walk at that.
Yeah, and he ended up being the tying run.
So the Yankees offense is going to have to go to work again as we get to the latter stages of this game. The 0-2 pitch is fouled straight back to our right. Count holds. No balls and 2 strikes on Guyer. Valdi at 89 pitches, but this has been his toughest inning by far. The Rays have had as many as 2 men on only one other time, and that was in the 5th. He's going to want a new baseball here.
Getting games like these, the pitcher's dealing, now all of a sudden, bam, bam, it's tie game 2-2. You think back to the first inning. After the Yankees had a 2-run lead, they had the bases loaded with nobody out and got nothing to show for it. So Chris Archer did a good job of pitching out of that jam. Yankees missed opportunities as well.
Just to kind of put the game away in the first.
Yeah, bases loaded, nobody out.
Guyer bouncing ball towards third for Headley. Straightens, throws, and that'll do it for the Rays here in the 7th inning. But they scored 2 runs on 2 hits and leave a runner. It's a tie ball game after 7.
I want to wish you a happy 90th birthday, and thank you for being so kind to me over the years. Can't wait to see you at the ballpark soon.
Happy 90th birthday to Yogi Berra, American icon. Time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 2-2 ball game as we head to the 8th inning. McCann and Beltran with RBI singles. And David DeJesus a 2-run single for Tampa Bay. Right now the Rays have gone to the bullpen. Chris Archer's night is done. They've gone to Kevin Jepsen. And the Verizon call to the bullpen has been made. Here's Jepsen, what he's done on the year. He's struggled somewhat lately. His last 3 appearances, he has walked 6 batters. That's in 2 1/3 innings. And the top of the order for the Yankees here in the 8th. And Jacoby Ellsbury takes a pitch outside for ball 1.
Yep.
Hyundai scoreboard. Yankees 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. For the Rays, they've had 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. The Yankee bullpen is busy. Ground ball, and it's going to be a fair ball over the bag. James Loney will step on the bag, and Ellsbury thought it was foul. And Joe Girardi is saying the same thing. He's talking with home plate umpire Adam Hamari. And Joe is not going to let this one go so easily. Now, as the ball approaches the bag at first base, it's the home plate umpire's call until the ball goes beyond the bag. Then it's up to the first base umpire to make the call. And now they're going to talk it over. Now watch who makes the call here. We get a good look at this one if Loney gets out of the way. And it's the first base umpire who makes the call after the ball passes the bag.
Our views kind of got blocked there just a bit. Even Loney wasn't sure as he looked over his shoulder at the first base umpire.
So it's going to go as a grounded to first, and Ellsbury's going to be out. So that goes 3 unassisted. So Ellsbury with 2 hits his first 2 times up is now 2 for 4 in the night. So here's Gardner, who is 2 for 3. His first 2 times up tonight he had base hits, and then he grounded out. Jepsen hits the outside corner for a called strike. Gardner had a home run here last night. Over the center field wall, just to the left of straightaway center field. Dylan Betances is warmed up. Looks like Nathan Eovaldi's night is done. And the Yankees will turn to their bullpen. Unless the Yankees score here, he will get a no decision.
Really a solid night from Eovaldi all the way around until the end. Got to be a little disappointing giving up the lead, but once again, not a lot of margin for error. Had 2 runs to work with.
2 balls and a strike to Gardner. A-Rod is on deck.
But clearly another step forward for Eovaldi. Very good tonight. All of his pitches.
Ball 3 to Gardner. A-Rod is next. Ball 4, he walked him. So the potential go-ahead run is on base as Gardner will head to first base with 1 down. And Jepsen has walked another batter. We got the attendance figures for tonight's ball game. And it's a new record, a new low for a Yankees-Rays game here at Tropicana Field. Last night we told you it was 10,619. That was the lowest in 150 games. Well, tonight it's 10,417. A-Rod takes right down the middle in there for a call strike. Alex looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. He hasn't had much success against Jepsen in his career. He's 1 for 10. You saw Rene Rivera hold the glove right there trying to get the call, but that was just off the plate, 1-1.
I would imagine, too, that Gardner, even though Jepsen's a little slow to home plate, and we'll get a look at this pitch. Oof, very close, just off, maybe just up. But Gardner might be a little gun shy to run again with Rivera, the way he's thrown tonight. He's thrown out Ellsbury and Gardner.
That was back-to-back in the second inning after each had singled. Rivera made a statement. Might last for this game and the next two if he's behind the plate. Checking closely on the Yankees' speedy left fielder. A-Rod had his 8th home run of the year here last night, and it was a bomb. 425 feet over the left field wall. Strike 2. Now it's A-Rod's turn to check with the home plate umpire.
Power against power.
Fouled off to the right. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Let's go back to the second inning. Check out those caught stealings. Rene Rivera showing off his arm.
You get to the point where a catcher gets hot too with his throwing. You can just shut down the running game on reputation alone.
Another foul ball off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. And it's just like pitching. Your mechanics, you come up, you got everything working, you step into the pitch, make a strong throw, ball doesn't sail, it holds its line. There is your matchup right now. So far, Jepsen's ahead on the count of ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. He hits the outside corner. Alex Rodriguez caught looking, and he didn't like the call.
No, he did not. As you see, the glove is just off the plate. But excellent job. And another thing that Rivera does so well is framing pitches. And what's the old saying? Too close to take?
Yeah.
He hits the glove. The glove was just off the plate. Really good pitch.
From a pitcher's standpoint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming from a pitcher, yes.
Mm-hmm. Here's Brian McCann, drove in a run to the first. And since then, he's flied to right, struck out swinging. This time facing Kevin Jepsen, who starts him off with an off-speed pitch and drops it in there for a strike. The Yankees, who hit 5 home runs last night, it's almost as if they're looking for a mistake to jump on here right now. And Mark Teixeira, just in case he's needed, swing a bat or play the field. He's loosening up in the Yankee dugout. Ball's hit on the ground, and Loney has it. This ought to do it. Steps on the bag. The Yankees leave a runner here in the 8th inning. We're going to the bottom half of the inning.
Well, just in case you were wondering, Alex didn't like the call. Right there to the glove, maybe on, maybe off, but we'll be right back.
But it's not on the pitching mound. Nathan Eovaldi's still in there. Joe Girardi giving him a chance. There's a change. Mark Teixeira now at first base. So he takes over defensively for Garrett Jones. Renato Rivera is going to lead it off. And he can't get that one. It's strike one. So, David, it appears that Joe Girardi's given Nathan Eovaldi a chance to win this ball game. As we look at our Hyundai scoreboard, a 2-2 tie.
You would think, although he does have Wilson warming up with the lefty Kiermaier on deck.
A ball and a strike on Rivera, who's grounded out twice.
Hasn't lost anything off his fastballs. You see there's the lefty power lefty Wilson ready to go. 96 from the last pitch from Eovaldi.
That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. So you get the feeling he's batter by batter, maybe?
It's possible. I mean, maybe he'll let him go if he gets the leadoff guy on, but obviously with Kiermaier on deck, Wilson is ready to go.
Swing and a miss, strike three. He got him. 6 strikeouts now for Nathan Eovaldi. Strikes out Rivera to lead it off here in the 8th.
Thinking about it.
He's thinking about the move here.
Of course, the righty Souza's on deck now, so that was, if the leadoff guy gets on, as you just see the signal, that was to hold. That was just a signal to Wilson, obviously, to hold.
Pitch to Kiermaier, outside for ball one. The Rays center fielders 0 for 2. I make that 0 for 3. He's grounded out, flied out twice.
Decisions.
2 balls and no strikes.
Say this, Joe Girardi's made a lot of the right decisions in his Yankees managerial career with regard to these type of moves. Who to use, who to bring in, what the matchups are.
So now he's going to Betances because the left-handed Kiermaier's at the plate already.
And Betances was up last inning in case the Yankees got a lead. The Yankees scored last inning. Betances was ready to go. So it won't take Betances long to get ready here. If Kiermaier reaches base, Betances could theoretically face Souza.
And he does reach base. A 4-pitch walk. And Kiermaier, who has speed, is on base. Second walk allowed tonight by Nathan Eovaldi. Souza tonight has had an infield single, and he has struck out twice. He came into tonight 2 off the league for strikeouts, so he now has 49 on the season. Call, strike 1. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Now 100 pitches, 63 of them been strikes for Eovaldi. Now Kiermaier has very good speed, but he has yet to pick up a stolen base this year. He's been tossed out 1 time.
Eovaldi, a very quick move to first base. Already has 1 pickoff on the game.
That came back in the first inning. He got the man at the plate, Souza. Little looper towards the right side and just out of the reach of Stephen Drew. Kiermaier hits second and heads to third as Steven Souza Jr. picks up a base hit. So that'll put runners on the corners with 1 out, with Evan Longoria coming to the plate, but he won't face Nathan Eovaldi. Joe Girardi just signaled to the bullpen, and he wants the big man, Dellin Betances.
Pitch jams him, but Drew kind of shifted over in double play depth. Just can't quite get there. A little soft hit, humpback line drive, just that close. As Drew just misses it, and that's going to knock Eovaldi out of the game.
And here comes Dellin Betances. 30 strikeouts in 19 in the 3rd innings. The Yankees are looking for one right here, or a double play with Longoria at the plate, who's 1 for 3. First pitch is hit high in the air to center field. This is going to be deep enough to score the runner at third. Kiermaier is tagged. He'll score easily, and the Rays take a 3-2 lead. So on the very first pitch, Longoria delivers a sac fly. That run is charged to Eovaldi.
Longoria doesn't want to wait for the slider. He sees the first hard thing coming, and he jumps on it. and it's probably up and out of the strike zone. But that's a pretty good strategy when you're facing Betances, because you do not want to see that hook.
First pitch to Loney is low and inside for a ball. So Eovaldi walked 2 batters in the game tonight, and both of them scored. And there are his numbers on the night. 2 balls and no strikes on James Loney. If you're looking ahead to the 9th inning for the Yankees, it'll be Beltran, Headley, and Drew. As they now trail for the first time in the game, the Rays have taken a 3-2 lead. And Brad Boxberger looks like he'll come in and try and shut the Yankees down in the 9th. Runner goes, pitches a ball, and it's going to be a stolen base for Steven Souza Jr. His 5th of the year.
Big jump. Betances' big leg kick, very slow to home. Not even a good pitch for McCann to throw, and a wise choice just to eat it.
And now the Yankees are going to walk Loney intentionally and move on to Forsythe, who's up next. Fans' copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So 2 on, 2 out. Logan Forsythe at the plate, who drew the first of 2 walks handed out by Eovaldi tonight and eventually came around the score. That was last inning. In the dirt, the ball goes back to the screen and the runners will advance. So Souza moves to third and Loney moves down to second on the wild pitch.
It's a tough one. Catchers hate it on balls in the dirt that get through your legs like that. You can see the tight spin from Betances. That ball really took off, but those are the ones that shouldn't happen. The ones that get through the catcher's legs. You can just keep your glove down.
A ball and a strike now on Forsythe. Another one gets away. McCann can't find it, and here comes a runner. Souza scores, and it's now 4-2. Loney also goes to third base. Another wild pitch.
Well, you can see this one. McCann does block, but can't find it. And it's such a hard pitch with incredible spin. Watch how far the ricochet off the chest protector. Good job, actually, in the chin. Caught a little bit of the metal off of his mask.
Check swing. He went around too far, and it's 2-2 now on Forsythe.
Really nothing McCann could do with that second wild pitch there.
So the Rays have scored 2 runs on 1 hit in this inning. And now lead 4-2. Good swing, foul back. Still 2-2. Esmil Rogers. It's his turn to heat up in the Yankee pen. Call, strike 3. So that'll do it for the Rays, but they take the lead here in the 8th inning. They scored a couple. It's now 4-2 Tampa Bay. acting President Barack Obama to honor Yogi Berra with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. Now, 9 other baseball players have been given this award, including Jackie Robinson, Joe DiMaggio, Stan Musial, and most recently, Ernie Banks in 2013. The petition requires 100,000 signatures by June the 8th. In addition to baseball, Yogi is a World War II vet, was an active member of the Civil Rights Movement, an ambassador and philanthropist. As of 4 p.m., the petition has over 8,000 signatures. If you would like to add your name, this is where you go, to the petitions.whitehouse.gov. Need 100,000 by June the 8th. So Nathan Eovaldi saw things turn for the worse the last inning as the Rays have taken the lead. And now the Rays bring in their closer, Brad Boxberger, who has 8 saves on the year. He has taken over that role in the absence of Jake McGee, who's working his way back from elbow surgery. There is strike 2. Boxberger has a good fastball, also an excellent changeup. Beltran had a hit and a run batted in the first inning when the Yankees were scoring their 2 runs. But they could not add to that first inning. Ball hit in the air to right field. Souza Jr. coming on, and he has it for out number 1. Second time that Beltran's flied out to right field. He's now 1 for 4. Fans, stay right here after the final out for the WB Mason postgame and get the highlights and analysis of tonight's matchup. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz has a reaction from the clubhouse and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame only on Yes. Chase Headley will take a strike from Boxberger. Well, the Yankees had won 4 straight here at Tropicana Field. They are in danger of losing their first game here this year. And at 4 straight in the win column was their longest streak since 2006. There's a change.
Another tough luck night for Nathan Eovaldi.
Yeah. Foul tipped off the glove of Rivera. Headley's at bat will continue. Gardner's had a couple hits. Ellsbury's had a couple. They've had 4 of the Yankees' 7. Make that 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The Rays with 4 late runs here to put themselves in a position to win the game. But you could say that Chris Archer won this game in the first inning. The bases loaded, nobody out, pitching out of that jam.
The Yankees did score 2, but they couldn't push across any other runs. Little looper towards center field, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. So the Yankees will bring the tying run to the plate. A 1-out single for Chase Headley.
And more importantly, Mark Teixeira now in the on-deck circle.
Mm-hmm. Now Garrett Jones had a base hit in the 4th inning. And this hit by Headley, the only 2 hits the Yankees have had since the 2nd inning. So you're right, Archer did get it together. Broken bat, fly ball to right field. Coming on is Souza Jr. He's there, and the Yankees are down to their last out. And Mark Teixeira will get his first at bat of the game. He came on defensively for Garrett Jones last inning. And the Yankees going to bring up the 2nd leading home run hitter in the league. He's got 11. He hit his 11th here last night. Nelson Cruz of the Seattle Mariners is on top with 14. Hanley Ramirez of the Red Sox with 10. And Mike Trout He's been hitting them lately. He's got 9.
It's what you asked for. Once you fell down 4-2, somebody get on base, get Teixeira a shot here. Now you got it. Headley with the single. Teixeira with a chance.
Outfield is deep and around towards right. Off-speed pitch is in there for a call strike. They're not holding Headley on, but Loney is guarding the line against a possible double. Headley goes, the pitch is popped up. Drifting back is Cabrera, coming on is Geyer. Geyer makes the catch, and the ball game is over. The Rays have evened up the series at a game apiece. A tough luck loss for Nathan Eovaldi, who was cruising late in the ball game with a 2-0 lead. Well, the Rays scored 2 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th, and have snatched this victory from the Yankees here in this second game. We'll be back with more to wrap this one up from Tropicana Field. The Rays take the second game of the series by a score of 4-2.